everyone, welcome back to the season finale of season 1 of my Al Pacino retrospective review series. It's today is Al Pacino's really big flop from 1985, which caused a career hiatus, if I could pronounce it, for 4 years. He wouldn't do a movie for 4 years after this one. This one was a critically panned, commercially flop. It flopped commercially. It didn't do well at all. And like I said, it caused Al Pacino to go into a hiatus for 4 years, and he wouldn't return until 1989. It's the 1985 historical costume drama Revolution, directed by Hugh Hudson, starring Al Pacino, Donald Sutherland, Nastassja Kinski, Joan Plowright, Dexter Fletcher, Steven Berkoff, among others. A plate production which right off the bat I can tell you cost $28 million to make, and it only made a profit of $358,000 and some change worldwide, which, yeah, big flop. A epic flop, universally panned upon release, like I said. So, is it that bad? Well, that is what we are going to be taking a look at today. So without any further ado, here's my review for 1985's Revolution. The plot of this historical epic costume drama, which, as stated before, cost $28 million to make, only earning back $358,574 worldwide, goes as follows. Set during the American Revolutionary War in 1776, spanning some time after, over the course of the movie, New York trapper Tom Dobb, played by Al Pacino, becomes an unwilling participant in the American Revolution after his young son Ned, played by Dexter Fletcher and Sid Owen respectively, joins the Continental Army as a drummer boy against his father's wishes. Later, his son is captured by the British and taken by the strict Sergeant Major Peasy, played by Donald Sutherland, to replace dead British drummer boys. Tom attempts to find his son and eventually becomes convinced that he must take a stand and fight for the freedom of the colonies. He crosses paths with the aristocratic rebel Daisy McConaughey, played by Nastassja Kinski, who gets involved in the support of the American troops. As Tom undergoes his change of heart, the events of the war unfold in large-scale grandeur. There's a lot more that happens in the film, but that's pretty much the nutshell of it. Honestly, the film is a mess. Apparently, it was rushed to cinemas by the studios so it could be up for the upcoming Oscar season. Al Pacino and Hugh Hudson talked about this in an interview on the special edition Director's Cut Blu-ray, more on that in a second, and they feel that this was the biggest problem that impacted the movie. They feel that it needed at least 6 more months of shooting and fine-tuning, but alas, that was taken away from them. The studio also forced the ending to be a more happy ending in which Pacino's character sees Kinski's character at the end, and they reunited after Pacino and we, the audience, thought that she was dead. This was not what Hudson wanted, but shot anyway to please the studio. In the director's cut for the film called Revolution Revisited, these things are addressed and omitted as Hudson cuts out that ending completely and made minor cuts to certain other scenes in the film that dragged a bit too much and weren't necessary. The biggest change in the director's cut is the addition of a newly recorded voiceover by Al Pacino, which adds more context to scenes and in my opinion is a welcome addition and does slightly improve the film. However, only slightly, as I still feel it's only a fraction of the film it could have been if they were given just more time back in the day. The scale is there. There are some big battle scenes that are filmed wonderfully in a handheld way, adding a documentary-esque vibe to them, and really does make the viewer involved in the battle. Production value is on full display and the film feels like an epic. I think the main problem for me personally is the script, which makes the film feel tonally all over the place, with humorous scenes followed by very serious scenes in a very jarring way. It just does not feel right. One big point of criticism that was given at the time was Al Pacino's accent in the movie, which, I don't know, I wasn't around in 1776 obviously, so I don't know how people in New York spoke back in those days. So I'm not gonna pass judgment on that myself personally in regards of authenticity, as it wouldn't be fair, but I don't really have a problem with it personally. It just takes a bit of getting used to, as we don't hear Pacino talk like that in any other project that he's done, so it's only weirdly sounding to me in that aspect. However, as I do personally know a couple of people based in and from the UK, I do have to point out Donald Sutherland's terrible British accent. What the hell were they thinking?
They're nothing but bloody animals. Right is, children. Now, his drummers look.
Like you.
Right, like him. You can't fight a war without drummer boys, son.
This film is directed by a Brit too, so how the hell did nobody tell Sutherland that it was terrible? Really baffling to me. While we're on Donald Sutherland, who I always love in these villain roles, look no further than Bertolucci's 1900 and the excellent Stallone prison drama Lock Up. I feel he's wasted in this movie and only has a limited amount of screen time, unfortunately. I wish his character was a bit more developed and more built up as a big sort of threat to Pacino's character and his son. All he does, really, that's truly evil, is reluctantly whip Pacino's son under orders of a higher ranking officer than him. I mean, if the movie showed us he truly enjoyed doing it, it would have added much more and made us hate him way more, but they don't go down that route. Kinski's character is okay, I guess. She's there, but also doesn't really get to shine, in my opinion. Much prefer seeing her father act. Sorry, Nastassja. Steven Berkoff is great to see as always, but only has about at most 5 minutes of screen time, sadly. Also worth noting is a small non-speaking role for the late great Robbie Coltrane, who appears in a nothing and thankless role. I didn't even know he was in there until I scrolled through the credits on IMDb and I was like, wait, what? He's in this? So I spotted him in one scene sitting in the background, in the theatrical version only, I might add, because it's one of the scenes that were cut for the director's cut. Let's wrap up. Revolution is a film that tries to be a big epic but completely misses the mark. Both studio interference and a poor script, I feel, are to blame. The scale is there, but it just doesn't quite get there, and even if the film did end up as intended without being rushed, I honestly still feel the audience for the film would have been very limited. Very mediocre film with wasted talent. I think Hudson does a fine and competent job directing this. Pacino is good in it as usual. I mean, I could watch the guy reading the phone book and it would be watchable. But unfortunately, even he couldn't save this one. 5.5 stars out of 10, unfortunately. And probably 6 stars for the director's cut. Recommended for curious and die-hard Pacino fans like myself only. So there you guys have it. That was my review for 1985's Revolution. So yeah, definitely of all the Pacino films that he's done so far, without a doubt, it's my least favorite. It's not a, I don't know, it's not a terrible film as people would make it out to be, and you know, as the reception was. But it's definitely like, you know, sort of an average, below average film. It's definitely not a classic. There's a lot in there. The scale is there, you know, there's some good battle scenes and everything. And it's sort of, the production value is there, but unfortunately it just did not fully deliver to what it was supposed to be. Again, you know, Pacino and Hugh Hudson talk about it in the DVD making of, you know, they had more planned and the film was rushed to release and this and that by the studio interference and all these kinds of things, but it's, yeah, it definitely really hurt the final product. I would love to have seen, you know, the full vision of Hugh Hudson, but unfortunately, you know, the director's cut was sort of his best effort at delivering that. He cut out the ending, you know, gave the film a voiceover by Pacino and stuff. The director's cut is, I think, more watchable than the theatrical one. I do give the director's cut 6 stars, where I give the theatrical 5.5 stars out of 10. So the director's cut definitely is an improvement for my opinion. Not a fast improvement, but definitely a improvement nonetheless. So that's the season finale for this season. We're going to pick up in season 2. We're going to have a hiatus of our own. Not 4 years as Pacino, I promise. We're going to probably take like a month or 2 of an hiatus, get my battery recharged, put in all the effort and gearing up for season 2. And when we will be back with season 2, we will come back with Al Pacino's comeback movie from 1989, which will be Sea of Love, directed by Harold Becker, co-starring Alan Barkin. So that's going to be in about 2 months from now in season 2. Pacino in his hiatus would also work on a little passion project of his own. We're going to be taking a look at that one as well. That will probably be the episode after that one. But anyway, thank you all for sticking with season 1 of my Al Pacino retrospective review series, if I can talk. I'm looking forward to seeing you all for season 2. Like I said, we're going to be entering into the 90s and stuff. We're going to get some really great Pacino films there. You know, he would really have a strong comeback in the first couple of years that he would come back. So I'm looking forward to it a lot. I hope you guys are as well. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you all for watching. Take care, keep punching, stay safe and healthy, and we'll see you all in season 2, baby, where we're gonna get the full Al Pacino experience. Hoo-ah! Take care.